I know.
So I was looking when we were talking about a splash pad last, and we were at like 250.
Yeah, I looked back in my notes
Uh-huh.
also, that's roughly where it was.
Open us up?
Maybe next year, I think, right? Because we're at like 500. Or is that before, the 500 before we get the 2022 funding?
No, that should be 550 with 2022.
550?
Yeah, I'd have to kind of look at the finances
Oh,
again.
I know.
Yeah, it does help. Anything helps.
Yeah.
The reduction in this project. One thing that we did get a proposal from the architect, what it would cost for him to do the bidding, but also all these changes, and it's gonna be 20 grand.
Okay,
So-
that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah,
is where are we
so,
at with
because they have to
revising and-
Redo it.
they have to redo pretty much
Construction.
a lot
Right.
of the land, those are, well, we're gonna try and do the water and sewer part in-house, and we're still researching that. But they have to pretty much redo a lot of the work, so,
Last time it was about 26.
yeah.
For what?
When we did the shelter last time, it was about the same.
Oh, yeah, for architecture and architectural and drafting, yeah.
So if we come in at the high end on the restrooms, we're at 570
With the splash pad?
with the splash pad, and the architect fees at 20,000.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think,
2023 could really be our year.
yeah, and I think definitely, it makes sense, one, to see what this project comes in at and reassess the finances. It'll give us a better idea too of what to levy for next year. And then it'll also give us a chance to get some community input for the splash pad. Because I think that's something that the city council wants us to do, is just kind of have more of a discussion on with the community on that part of the project at least. So,
Park get from monies from the general or from?
so we levy each year a little bit for capital. Again, it's kind of, last year we had a lot of large projects. The year before that, it all depends on kind of the growth of the city and kind of how things pan out. So we've been as high as 100,000 each year. I think right now we're back to 50.
Yeah, I believe.
But again, I'm
Do it for a year and pay for both in one shot, but
I think we could do the shelter or the restrooms this year, and then
That's what I.
Yeah, I think because they're very separate projects, and they will pretty much be done by different groups of people anyways.
Yep.
This phase will definitely set up what is needed to construct the splash pad. As far as infrastructure, we're definitely keeping that in mind, but which will make the whole process a lot simpler when we get to that phase. But I think it makes sense too, because I think we're going to have to wait one more. I'm working on the long-term financial plan right now, where I'm actually working with Kyle and the department heads. And that after we're able to kind of reassess our projects for the upcoming 2023 and where all of our finances are, I'm waiting to finalize our audit. Some of that, depending on how the audit pans out too, we might be able to do some transferring of like excess. I don't know. Anyways, so I think I should have a better idea by April, kind of where our long-term financial plan is and kind of what we will need to levy for the splash pad in 2023. I think it's doable, but I'll have a better idea in April. But I think this phase is definitely good to go financially. And to bid it out. And again, usually when we get estimates, I think architects and engineers usually go on the higher end. So we're always hopeful we'll get enough bidders on it to make it a competitive bid. And sometimes it actually comes in lower. So that would be nice if if that happened. But I think we're also looking at alternative stuff that we can do in-house to maybe cut the cost a little bit more too, if we can. So, but my one question is your comfort level of me bringing this to the architect fees to the council on Monday.
So I would be looking for a motion, somebody to make a motion, as far as taking this to the next step, going to
Approve a
architect.
dollar amount?
Now the architect fees
It's
will come out of
25.
Park Commission, correct?
It will be
Correct.
Yeah.
20,000.
The architect, it would be 20,000 for all of the redesign. If you're comfortable with this design and you want to move forward as well. So I think maybe it would be a two-part approach where we would approve the architect moving forward with the final plans. And then, well, I don't know. I'm trying to think if we would wait then till they got the final plans to bring it to
don't want to
council.
see 'em.
Yeah, so I think what I would do is maybe provide just some basic information in the weekly update to them about this new concept. But at least, well, no, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the architect approval to get the architect to start moving ahead on the design of the pavilion. I will also bring them, the city council, the concept of what it looks like for them to be like, for us to say this is what it'll look like and what we're approving them to work on to send it out for bid later this year. So if you agree with that timeline to get it on next Monday's meeting, I guess that's what I'm looking for a motion for.
Will the architect be able to make his tweaks that we are asking for or not?
I don't think we need we will tell him the tweaks, but I don't think they're like big enough that they need to be on the plans for the council.
If
But they'll
he can
definitely,
do it, he'll do it, but I know he's swamped right now too. with the-
yeah, I think it took him a lot. I think we really pushed him to even get this concept to us.
You know,
For this meeting, so we could stick to our timeline. But those design
Even if you could
changes,
just ask him present him with the question, is it a problem if we move this back and move these to the sides?
When Maggie and I talked with him last time too, I was wondering if he could take out a column, and he can. So there'll only be 4 columns versus the 5.
Oh.
Because he can do 20-foot spans, I think, versus 15-foot.
Okay,
So I just, one less thing to walk into, right?
Great.
So,
I think that's great.
yeah, and I think that was the main.
Yeah.
But he was able to kind of remove things and move things around pretty easy. So
Okay.
hopefully.
yeah. I'll send an update to you on Friday. But yeah, I'll tell council that there are some minor changes, and I'll confirm that they're that the architect's able to do them.
Even if he just gets up and updated these 2 drawings, just so I can see it.
Right.
Which I think he might be able to do.
And it's an easy explanation. I don't think that there's any structural interference with moving this stuff. So. Okay. I guess we need to make a motion to move to council on Monday, right?
Yeah, so the motion would be to approve the architect moving forward with the design, doing the design work in the amount of $20,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the architect doing the design work on the 2022 pavilion design for $20,000.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Let's take it to council. I like it. Thank you, Kyle.
Yes, thank you, Kyle.
And Maggie, and yeah, yeah, I think it's great.
Does everybody have the site plan?
Yep.
Yeah.
So does everybody saw that kind of the layout? This kind of has the water and sewer concept on there as far as how we'll get water and sewer to it and kind of how it'll be positioned and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'll get clarification maybe from Dave and Maggie and see how close we can get to the water main. Right now, I think we're about 15 feet off that water main.
Yeah, we can't get much closer.
I wouldn't want to.
I would love to see it closer to the trail, but I don't
Right.
believe we can.
Yep, so, I mean, if everybody's all right with it, I think.
Right. It'll be closer than the front of the building is now,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
right? So, but that does give us a little green space between there and the trail, and we can
Yep.
hopefully keep some trees or whatever in there also.
So will council be approving removal of the old Public Works building then at the
I
next,
mean, technically they have, we just,
years ago?
years ago, we just have to, I think what we need to do is just bring a new, yeah, we just have to bring a new price to them. If it's, yeah,
We'd approved it at 13. I thought we had approved it, moving it at
Moving it at
13,000.
Yeah, and then it got stalled at planning commission because we had new updates and all this other stuff to it, if I remember right.
Right.
But to tear it down, it wasn't that bad. We can almost just approve it in-house, but probably something like that. We
I was
should
gonna say,
bring
it might be
also.
under, it's probably under five, I'm sure.
And we have a big payloader now, so we might just take it down ourselves, so.
Ooh,
Yeah.
if it was wood,
There
you
it
could
goes.
do the fire department doing a burn.
It is wood.
Is it-
So are
oh, it is
you're
wood.
looking,
Take the scrap off.
you're looking here to take sewer down the hill again?
That is, as of now. I'm back and forth on it, to be honest.
Okay.
Instead of bringing in just a Blue Jay. But Blue Jay, we got gas line, sewer, storm sewer, a few other more things in the way where I don't know if it'll be any more cost effective. It's
Okay.
about the same distance, really.
It is,
Yep.
okay.
So,
Well, and going down the hill is pretty simple.
yep, going down the hill, and I thought there was manholes, but there's just a couple cleanouts, and
Yeah,
I think we'd be fine
I
with
think
that.
we'd have to add,
We can still jet it and televise it and do everything we
we'd
do
have to
with
put
it. So.
one manhole in?
There's, on this plan, they're just cleanouts.
Really?
Yep. So at 45s, we got, there's one clean out. I think I'd put two at each 45, one going one way, one going the other way. Just to make sure we're covered. But otherwise, what was the price of a whole manhole structure? It's like, what, 10?
No, I know they're expensive, but I just,
I know.
I'm-
You want to do it right.
Right.
So, but yeah, I know we talked to Dave a little bit about it, but maybe just get a couple more clarifications, just because it is getting hooked to the splash pad, or the splash will be.
and that's
We
that's
wanna
part of
be
my
on-
big concern.
We don't want to redo it, so.
Right. So, okay,
And my plan, if we went to Blue Jay, we could do one manhole and it's a straight shot right to Blue Jay, so. Things to think
Yep.
about, so. Sewer might be a little higher than what it was before, but,
Yeah, as long as you get a pipe. As long as you get a pipe.
yep.
okay. Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Any staff updates? Anybody got anything to report? All right.
Last week, or this week, late last week with the weather warming up, we kind of decided that the ice rink is, kind of done for the year.
Can't imagine.
Well, we were pretty excited
How
that
did it do
had
this
a pretty
well this
good-
year?
It
good
did
run.
really well in the beginning, then it kind of tapered off towards the end.
Okay.
And we had great ice.
Yeah, I thought the ice was, we
Yeah, it
were
was good.
on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we made a Zamboni with the toolcat and we just put little thin floats on. Yeah, it worked really well, not gonna lie. We will be regrading it this summer though, because we got a couple dirt humps that, just from settling and stuff since it's.
Hard to cover.
Yep.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of water to fill that one middle now, so. Yeah, we'll be filling it in, kind of regrading it, making
Okay.
it smoother, so. Next year it'll be better.
No,
Is there any way for maybe the shed to put it on Facebook or something like that? We're gonna tear down the shed in 2 months. If you want the tin, type of thing.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know if that's a liability or not.
Well, I think
I
the
would
city
love
of,
If they bought it for $500 or something like that.
I would love the tin.
I think the city of Plymouth held a bid one time for some playground equipment, and they said, you have to take it down.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh,
seeing it like for sale.
I know we had somebody that was like temporarily interested in actually taking the structure, and then they kind of backed out after because they decided they didn't need it anymore. But I can look into it. Yeah, I don't
If they
know.
don't make a timeline, then you just tear it down and move on, but.
Yeah, we can look and see if there's a process for it if somebody wants it.
I think right now we still have equipment and stuff in it though, right?
No, it's empty.
It is empty.
We shifted it to the fire station.
Okay, I didn't know if it was completely empty or not.
I've had mixed reactions on if we should do it that way. But, I mean, we could discuss it more if we want to, but I don't know how much money we'd get out of it. Obviously, we'll take the garage doors down and bring them to auction, we'll sell them, garage door openers, sell them.
Yeah, we'll look into it,
Yep.
like what all of our
I mean-
options are.
It's better than costing 3,000. I mean, if we can make $500, it's better than going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then, can we talk about like events next meeting?
Yeah.
I think we talked about doing community stuff. Okay,
Yeah, I think that's good.
I don't really have
I-
anything right now,
Right,
but,
but I think that's
Yeah.
good to maybe talk about
yeah.
open gym or whatever other kind of things we can scheme up in our crazy heads. So, I like that idea.
So we're just waiting on numbers on splash pads, right? I mean, are we waiting on any kind of concepts, or are we kind of?
I actually just got one today. That, like, at like 5:30 at night. So I didn't get it to you guys, but it's just a very preliminary concept. But I sent it to Kyle, but I think my plan is to actually, again, I think I have a meeting with him next week, and I just want to go over it a little bit more. Where I had left it was I need to figure out exactly the timeline and how we can directly work with a contractor that's on the state bid instead of, because like I think I mentioned before, you can't really bid out a splash pad because everybody sells a different product. So you wouldn't be able to, the companies can't give you apples to apples product. So I do at least have a concept that we can look at because I think, and I want to get updated costs too because it's been a while since we were quoted a true cost, and so that's part of my part of the long-term financial plan update that I'm making right now is just to up the pricing of all the projects that we still have left in all the departments. So
When does the audit get finalized?
it's finalized. It goes to the council on the 28th, but I still need to sit down with the auditor to talk about some of the audit findings and what that means for our long-term plan. So there's just some stuff that is still in limbo that I should hopefully wrap up by the end of March.
So the game plan is go to council. If they approve it, have architect go out for bids.
He would start the design work, which will come back to council to then go out for bid. But I would probably bring it back to you guys too, just for final review.
Yep.
And then it would go to council to then go out for bid. I believe by April, again, I should have a lot more financial updated information, and then we can kind of start talking about splash pad timeline and updated costs for that too. So I think it'll come together more so in April, so.
And you think timing will work out okay for our next meeting? We don't need to like add a meeting or anything?
At this time, I don't think so, because it's going to take a while for the architect to kind of start getting stuff. And then also, again, I don't have like all that audit stuff done until March 28th anyways. So unless something changes, I think we're okay. But I'll communicate if we need to do anything else.
All right,
All right, I'm good.
I'll look to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Sorry, who was second? Oh.
I want it. No, I want it. I'm adjourning. No, I'm
That's
adjourning.
why I always look at her and smile.